Okay, so let me just read it out. It's, hello, English learner. Welcome to our channel, English Learning Master. Let's start our today's video. And that's it. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think a lot of English speakers bump into. How to stop sounding, well, a bit repetitive.
Right. Moving beyond those basic words.
Exactly. It's like upgrading your linguistic toolkit, you know?
Yeah.
Getting those nuances right.
It really is. A lot of learners get quite good with grammar, but then vocabulary becomes the challenge. The same words keep popping up.
Yeah. So today, our mission is to dig into some really common English words and find those richer alternatives, the ones that can really boost your fluency.
Make you sound more natural, more precise. We've looked into vocabulary building, and we're aiming to pull out the best tips for you.
We'll hit everyday words, give you options, examples, maybe flag some common mistakes too. Ready to dive in?
Let's do it. How about we start with emotions like happy. It's the classic go-to.
Totally. But there's so many flavors of happy.
Exactly. And each synonym carries a slightly different feeling, a different connotation. That's the key here.
Okay, so instead of just I'm happy, you could say maybe I was joyful at the wedding. That sounds, I don't know, stronger, more vibrant.
Yeah, joyful has that exuberant quality. Or how about delighted? Like I was delighted by the gift. It suggests pleasure, maybe a nice surprise.
Okay, I see. And please, that feels a bit different. Maybe more like satisfaction. I was pleased with the service. Like they met your expectations.
That's a great way to put it. Pleased often connects to something specific, meaning a standard. It's satisfying, but maybe not bouncing off the walls happy.
Right.
And then there's content. That feels quieter, doesn't it? I felt content after a good meal. It's more like a peaceful state of well-being, internal.
Yeah, it's sort of quiet satisfaction, not necessarily excitement.
Yeah.
And cheerful. That sounds more outward looking. She has a cheerful disposition, bright, positive.
Exactly. It's about the mood they project.
Yeah.
Now, if we ramp up the intensity.
Okay, so like elated. That sounds pretty strong. He was elated when his team won. Like real triumph.
Definitely. High spirits, excitement. And thrilled is similar, intense excitement, pleasure. She was thrilled to receive the award, often tied to a specific event, you know.
Got it. Thrilled by something specific. And the top level might be blissful. A blissful afternoon. Sounds like pure, calm happiness.
Perfect happiness, tranquility. So you see, just for happy, you've got all these textures.
It really paints a much clearer picture. Okay, so what about the flip side? Sad.
Well, unhappy is the direct one, but again, quite general. Down is more informal, isn't it? Feeling a bit down, like a temporary low.
Yeah, like you wouldn't necessarily say that in a formal report. And gloomy, that feels heavier. Gloomy weather, gloomy mood, like it's pervasive.
You can describe the atmosphere too, absolutely.
Right.
Then you get stronger terms. Depressed, which obviously can be clinical, indicating a deeper, longer sadness.
Right, important distinction. And sorrowful, that sounds quite deep, maybe linked to loss. Sorrowful after the funeral, it has weight.
It does. It implies grief or deep regret.
Yeah.
Then there's melancholic. That's more pensive, wouldn't you say? A kind of wistful sadness, sometimes without an obvious cause. A melancholic tune.
Like a gentle, reflective sadness. Okay, and the really intense one.
Probably heartbroken. That conveys real emotional pain, usually after a big loss or, romantic disappointment.
Wow, okay. So much more precise than just sad. Let's tackle angry.
Right. Mad is the common informal one.
Like happy and sad, it's the basic level.
Pretty much. Then you have milder ones. Annoyed, just slight irritation. Annoyed by the noise. Irritated is similar, maybe implies a bit of impatience brewing.
Yeah, I can feel that. Like something's really starting to get under your skin.
And then frustrated. That's specific, isn't it? It's anger from being blocked or unable to do something. Frustrated by the delays.
Oh yeah, that's a very distinct feeling. And if the anger really ramps up...
Then you're into furious territory.
Yeah.
Intense anger, almost rage. And enraged is maybe even a step beyond that uncontrolled boiling anger.
Okay, those are strong. And what about indignant? That sounds a bit different again.
It is. Indignant anger usually comes from feeling something is unfair or unjust. She was indignant about the accusation. It's anger mixed with a sense of being wronged.
Right, like moral outrage almost. Fascinating how specific these are.
Isn't it? Choosing the right word just adds so much clarity. Okay, so that's emotions. Should we move on to describing the physical world? Size, quantity.
Yeah, let's do it. Big and small are everywhere. What are the options for big?
Well, large is the straightforward swap. Huge is clearly bigger than large. Then you've got enormous, suggesting really immense size.
Enormous sounds. Well, Enormous. And massive. Does that just mean big, or is there more to it? Feels heavier?
It often implies bulk or imposing size. Yeah.
Sure.
A massive statue, a massive undertaking. Gigantic also suggests something truly colossal, maybe even surprisingly so.
Like a giant.
Kind of, yeah. And then there are words like substantial and considerable. They suggest a size or amount that's significant, noteworthy, a substantial profit, a considerable distance.
So not just physically big, but important in scale. Okay. What about small?
Little is the common one. Tiny means very small. Minute, and you stress the second syllable here, minute implies extremely small, almost too small to see easily. Minute particles of dust.
Ah, like microscopic almost.
Yeah.
And minuscule, even smaller.
Even smaller. Then petite, often used for people, especially women, or things that are small and neat, maybe delicate.
Right, you wouldn't call a big truck petite.
Probably not. And compact suggests small but well-designed or efficient. A compact camera, a compact apartment, small but functional.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, quantity. We always say many or a lot.
We do. But you could use numerous, which sounds a bit more formal. Numerous requests. Several means, more than 2 or 3, but not a huge number.
Right, a moderate amount.
Then a multitude of really emphasizes a large quantity. A multitude of choices. Sounds quite grand.
It does, and countless.
Yeah.
Literally too many to count.
That's the idea. Countless stars. And abundant means plenty, more than enough. An abundant supply of food. It suggests richness.
Again, different shades of meaning. Okay, and the opposite, few.
You could say a handful of. Very informal, suggests a small number you could literally hold.
Like just a handful of people showed up.
Exactly. A couple of usually means 2, maybe 3 informally. Scarce means rare, hard to find. Resources are scarce.
Implies a lack, a difficulty.
Right. And limited just means there's a set, restricted number. Limited seats available.
Okay, great alternatives there. Let's shift gears again. How about describing things, places, the quality of things? We use good all the time.
Constantly. But it's so vague. Try excellent for really high quality. Fantastic or wonderful. Express more enthusiasm, more delight.
Yeah, they have more energy than just good.
Definitely. Superb suggests top-tier quality. A superb meal. Outstanding means it really stands out from the rest.
And remarkable or impressive. They suggest it made you take notice, right?
Exactly. Something noteworthy. Something that makes you think, wow. It just adds so much more descriptive power.
It really does. Okay, what about bad?
Again, lots of options depending on how bad. Terrible and awful are common for very unpleasant things. Dreadful suggests something really unpleasant, maybe even causing fear or misery.
Like a dreadful accident. Has a heavy feel.
It does. Then poor often relates to quality, doesn't it? Poor workmanship. Inferior means it's lower quality compared to something else. And substandard means it just doesn't meet the expected level.
Below par. Okay.
Yeah.
And beautiful, another common one.
So many ways to be beautiful. Gorgeous implies striking, maybe dazzling beauty. Stunning suggests beauty that literally stops you in your tracks. Breathtaking.
Yeah, stunning sounds really impactful.
It is. Lovely is gentler, more charming. Exquisite suggests delicate, intricate, finely made beauty. Think of exquisite jewelry.
Ah, okay. Detailed beauty. And picturesque. That's for scenery, right?
Usually, yes.
Yeah.
A scene that looks like a perfect picture, charming and visually appealing, like a picturesque village.
Got it. How about old? Context must be key here.
Hugely important. Ancient, it's very, very old, often historical. Ancient ruins. Aged suggests the process of becoming old, like aged cheese or an aged actor.
Right. And vintage. That's for things usually, like clothes or cars.
Often, yeah. Older items that are now stylish or valuable because of their age. Classic means it stood the test of time. Traditional, enduring quality. A classic design.
And outdated. That's more negative, isn't it?
Yes, it means it's no longer modern or fashionable, obsolete, outdated technology.
Okay. And finally in this group, new.
Novel suggests something new and original, maybe surprising. A novel approach. Recent just means it happened not long ago.
Straightforward. Modern and contemporary seem similar.
They're often used interchangeably, referring to the present time. Contemporary might be used more in arts or design contexts sometimes. And innovative means it introduces new methods or ideas. It's new and groundbreaking.
Like innovative technology. Create something fresh. Okay, this is great. Let's move to actions, to verbs. Say is another one we use constantly.
All the time. But how is it said? If it was just a brief reference, you could use mention. If it was a formal statement of fact, maybe state.
Or declare, if it was firm, public. Announce, for making something known to a group.
Precisely. Explain obviously means making something clear. And think about the volume or emotion. Whisper for quiet. Exclaim for loud or surprised speech.
It immediately tells you how they spoke. What about walk?
How did they walk? Leisurely. That's a stroll. Aimlessly. They wander. With purpose and rhythm. They march.
Okay. And stride, that sounds purposeful too.
Yes, long, decisive steps. Saunter is the opposite. Relaxed, unhurried, maybe even a bit swaggering. And pace is walking back and forth, often nervously.
Like pacing the room, waiting for news. Again, vivid images. And look.
So many ways to look. A long, steady look is a gaze. A fixed, intense, maybe rude look is a stare. A quick look is a glance.
Right. And if you're looking carefully,
You might observe. If you're looking very closely to find something out, you examine. And if you're looking closely because it's hard to see, you peer.
like peering through the fog. Okay. One more verb. Eat.
Consume is more formal. If you eat really hungrily or quickly, you devour your food.
Like a wolf.
Exactly. Dine is more formal, suggesting a proper meal. If you just take small bites gently, you nibble. And if it's a large celebratory meal, you feast.
Nibble versus feast. Big difference. Okay, so we have all these great words, but you can't just use them anywhere, right? Context matters.
Hugely. Formality is a big one. Who are you talking to? What's the situation? That really dictates your word choice.
Right, like you'd help a friend move house, but you'd offer to assist a client in a formal email.
Perfect example.
Right.
Or you'd find out some information informally, but in a report, you might write that you needed to ascertain the facts. Sounds much more formal.
Okay. And maybe you talk about a problem with colleagues, but you discuss it in a formal meeting.
Exactly. Or asking someone to go versus instructing them to proceed. The second one's definitely more formal, more official sounding.
So you really need to develop a feel for the situation.
I do. And that sensitivity, well, it mostly comes from exposure, Reading, listening to how native speakers use these words in different contexts.
Makes sense. Are there common mistakes people make when trying to use more synonyms?
Oh, definitely. One is using a word that's too strong for the situation, like saying you were furious because the bus was 5 minutes late. It sounds exaggerated.
Yeah, maybe just annoyed would be better there.
Probably. Another trap is picking a word with a slightly wrong connotation, the underlying feeling. It can accidentally change your whole meaning.
And what about using too many fancy words?
That's another one. Overusing very formal vocabulary in casual chats can make you sound a bit stiff or unnatural. Trying too hard, maybe?
Right, and then there are those classic confusions, words that just sound similar.
Yes. Like affect versus effect. Affect is usually the verb effect the noun, or imply versus infer. The speaker implies, the listener infers.
Ah, okay, that's a good distinction.
And continuous versus continual. Continuous means nonstop, without interruption. Continual means happening repeatedly, but with breaks. Subtle, but different.
So, lots to be aware of. How can people actually get better at this? What are some practical tips?
Well, number one is probably reading widely. Notice the words authors use, how journalists phrase things. Pay attention.
Don't just read for plot. Read for language.
Exactly. And when you find a new word, don't just learn its basic meaning. Use a good dictionary to check the nuances, look at the example sentences, see it in action.
An a thesaurus. Helpful or dangerous?
Helpful for options, but dangerous if you just pick a word without checking its precise meaning and usage. Always verify with a dictionary.
Okay, and then you have to actually use them, right?
Absolutely. Active practice. Try slipping new synonyms into your writing, maybe even your speaking. Don't be afraid to experiment.
What about collocations? You mentioned those words that just sound right together.
Yeah, those are really important for sounding natural, like we make a decision, not usually do a decision, or heavy rain, not strong rain. Noticing those patterns helps a lot.
So pay attention to word partners.
Definitely. And honestly, embrace mistakes. You'll sometimes use a word slightly incorrectly. That's okay. It's part of learning how it really works.
Good point. Don't let fear of mistakes stop you from trying.
And maybe focus on learning just a few new words at a time. Really get comfortable with them before adding more. Don't try to swallow the dictionary whole.
Solid advice. Okay, so wrapping things up for this deep dive. Mastering synonyms really seems like a powerful way to make your English sound more fluent, more natural, more you.
It absolutely is. It adds precision, color, depth. It moves you beyond just functional communication to something richer.
And it's a journey, right? Not something you learn overnight.
Definitely a continuous process. Keep reading, keep listening, keep practicing. Your feel for the right word in the right place will keep improving.
So keep at it. And for a final thought to take away, pick a common English word you use a lot, maybe good or say or thing, and just take a moment to think, what are 2 or 3 other ways you could express that idea, maybe more precisely in different situations? Give it a shot.
Great exercise.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.